Why do you think the most dangerous opponents are always the quiet ones? Think about it for a second. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. They're compensating. They're filling the air with noise because they have nothing substantial to back it up. But the one who sits back, observes, and says nothing, that's the one planning your destruction while you're busy running your mouth. Your mouth is your greatest enemy. Every time you open it to announce your plans, you're bleeding energy that should be fueling your actions. Every word you speak about what you're going to do is energy stolen from actually doing it. The universe doesn't care about your intentions. It only responds to your actions. But here you are telling everyone about your grand plans, seeking validation, seeking approval, seeking someone to pat you on the back and tell you that you're amazing. You're not amazing for having an idea. You're amazing for executing it. But you'll never execute it if you keep talking about it. Why? Because talking gives you a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain can't tell the difference between talking about doing something and actually doing it. When you verbalize your goals, your brain releases the same chemicals as if you'd already achieved them. You get the reward without the work. You get the satisfaction without the struggle. This is why most people never achieve anything significant. They're too busy being the narrator of their own unwritten story. They're standing on the sidelines of their own life, commentating on a game they're not even playing. Meanwhile, the real champions are out there training in silence, building their skills, perfecting their craft, becoming unstoppable forces while everyone else is making noise. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is the presence of focused energy. When you keep your mouth shut about your plans, you're not hiding from the world. You're protecting your dreams from the world, because the world will destroy your dreams if you give it the chance. Not out of malice, but out of mediocrity. Most people are living lives of quiet desperation, and when they see someone with genuine ambition, with real plans, with actual potential, they feel threatened. They feel exposed. They feel small. So what do? They plant seeds of doubt. They ask you questions designed to make you question yourself. They tell you about all the people who tried and failed. They remind you of your past failures. They smile and nod when you tell them your dreams, but behind their eyes you can see them calculating how long it will take for you to give up. They're not rooting for you. They're waiting for you to fail so they can feel better about their own lack of action. This is human nature. This is the way the world works. Accept it. Don't fight it. Use it. When you understand that most people are unconsciously programmed to maintain the status quo, you can use this knowledge to your advantage. While they're busy maintaining their comfortable mediocrity, you can be building something extraordinary in the shadows. The ancient warriors understood this principle. They didn't announce their battle plans to the enemy. They didn't telegraph their moves. They studied their opponents in silence, prepared their strategies in secret, and struck when the moment was right. By the time their enemies realized what was happening, it was already too late. The battle was won before it even began. Your life is a battlefield. Your dreams are the territory you're fighting for. Your obstacles are the enemies standing in your way. Every time you reveal your strategy, you're giving your enemies the information they need to defeat you. Every time you announce your next move, you're allowing them to prepare their counter-moves. Every time you seek validation from others, you're asking them to judge whether you deserve to win. But here's what most people don't understand. You don't need anyone's permission to be great. You don't need anyone's approval to chase your dreams. You don't need anyone's validation to justify your ambitions. The only person whose opinion matters is the person looking back at you in the mirror, and that person already knows what you're capable of. That person already knows what you need to do. That person is just waiting for you to stop talking and start moving. Movement is the language of champions. Action is the vocabulary of winners. Results are the only words that matter in the end. While others are busy crafting the perfect social media post about their morning routine, you're actually building the discipline that will transform your life. While others are explaining their business ideas to anyone who will listen, you're actually building the business. While others are talking about their fitness goals, you're actually in the gym, sweating, struggling, growing stronger with every rep. The gap between talkers and doers is not a small gap. It's a chasm. It's the difference between fantasy and reality. It's the difference between dreaming and achieving. It's the difference between being a spectator and being a participant in your own life. Most people live on the wrong side of this gap. They're professional dreamers, amateur achievers. They're experts at planning, beginners at executing. But you're different. You have to be different. If you want different results, you need different behaviors. If you want extraordinary outcomes, you need extraordinary discipline. And the first discipline you need to master is the discipline of silence. Not the silence of surrender, but the silence of strategy. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of focus. When you master the art of silent progress, you become unpredictable. When you become unpredictable, you become dangerous. When you become dangerous, you become unstoppable. This is the path of the silent warrior. This is the way of those who achieve the impossible, while others are still debating whether it's possible. Think about the greatest achievements in history. How many of them were announced beforehand? How many of them were crowdsourced for opinions? How many of them were subject to committee approval? None. The greatest breakthroughs came from individuals who had the courage to work in isolation, to trust their vision, to believe in their ability to create something from nothing. They didn't seek permission. They didn't ask for advice. They didn't wait for consensus. They saw what needed to be done, and they did it. They understood that explaining your vision to someone who doesn't share your vision is like trying to describe color to someone who was born blind. It's a waste of time and energy. It's a distraction from the real work. The real work is internal. The real work is the daily practice of becoming better than you were yesterday. The real work is the accumulation of small improvements that compound over time into massive transformations. The real work is the development of skills, the strengthening of character, the building of mental toughness. This work happens in private. This work happens in silence. This work happens when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one is cheering, when no one even knows you're working. This is where legends are born, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, not in the moments of glory, but in the moments of grind. Not when everyone is watching, but when no one is watching. The true test of your character is not how you perform when everyone is cheering for you. The true test is how you perform when you're completely alone, when there's no audience, when there's no applause, when there's no recognition. Can you push yourself when no one is pushing you? Can you discipline yourself when no one is disciplining you? Can you motivate yourself when no one is motivating you? Can you believe in yourself when no one else believes in you? This is the essence of the silent warrior's path. This is the foundation upon which all greatness is built. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once a novice. Every champion was once a dreamer. But what separated those who achieved mastery from those who remained beginners was not talent, not luck, not connections. It was the willingness to work in silence, to learn in private, to fail without fanfare, to improve without applause. They understood that the journey of transformation is a solitary journey. Yes, you might have coaches, mentors, and supporters along the way, but the real work, the hard work, the transformative work, that happens between you and your reflection. That happens between you and your conscience. That happens between you and your potential. Your potential doesn't care about your excuses. Your potential doesn't care about your fears. Your potential doesn't care about what other people think. Your potential is waiting for you to stop making noise and start making moves. It's waiting for you to stop seeking validation and start creating value. It's waiting for you to stop explaining yourself and start expressing yourself through your actions. The world is full of explainers and short on demonstrators. The world is full of people who can tell you why something won't work and short on people who can show you how to make it work. The world is full of critics and short on creators. Which category do you want to be in? Which side of history do you want to be on? The choice is yours, but understand this. The clock is ticking. Every moment you spend talking about what you're going to do is a moment you're not spending doing it. Every conversation you have about your dreams is a conversation that's not moving you closer to your dreams. Every explanation you give for your ambitions is energy that's not being invested in your ambitions. Time is the most valuable resource you have, and it's the one resource you can never get back. How are you spending it? Are you investing it in actions that compound into results? Or are you wasting it on words that evaporate into nothing? The silent warrior knows the value of time. The silent warrior treats time like the precious resource it is. The silent warrior doesn't waste time explaining, justifying, or defending their choices. The silent warrior makes choices and lives with the consequences. The silent warrior understands that action is the ultimate form of communication. When you act, you're speaking the only language that matters. When you produce results, you're making the only argument that counts. When you achieve your goals, you're providing the only proof that's needed. Everything else is just noise. Everything else is just distraction. Everything else is just another way to avoid doing the work that needs to be done. The work is calling you. Your potential is calling you. Your destiny is calling you. But it's not calling you to talk about it. It's calling you to do something about it. It's calling you to become the person you were meant to be. It's calling you to live the life you were meant to live. It's calling you to achieve the things you were meant to achieve. But first you have to stop talking and start walking. You have to stop explaining and start demonstrating. You have to stop seeking permission and start taking action. You have to stop being a spectator and start being a participant. You have to stop living in the future and start living in the present. The present moment is where your power lives. The present moment is where your potential resides. The present moment is where your transformation begins. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Now, right now, this moment, this breath, this heartbeat, this choice. What will you choose? Will you choose the path of the talker or the path of the walker? Will you choose the way of the explainer or the way of the demonstrator? Will you choose the life of the spectator or the life of the participant? The choice is yours, but remember this, once you make your choice, the universe will respond accordingly. Choose wisely, choose courageously, choose silently. The world is waiting to see what you're made of, but it's not waiting to hear what you're made of. It's waiting to see your actions, your results, your achievements. It's waiting to witness your transformation, not your explanation of it. The silent warrior's path is not easy, but it's the only path that leads to true mastery. It's the only path that leads to genuine achievement. It's the only path that leads to lasting fulfillment. Everything else is just another way to stay exactly where you are, talking about where you want to be. But choosing silence is only the beginning. Now comes the real challenge, moving through the world like a ghost, building your empire while your enemies sleep, growing stronger while they grow complacent. You think the hardest part is keeping your mouth shut. That's child's play compared to what comes next. The hardest part is becoming invisible while becoming invincible. Show me your hands if you've ever felt the sting of someone trying to tear down your dreams the moment you shared them. Keep them up if you learned that lesson the hard way. Your enemies are not who you think they are. Your biggest obstacles don't wear masks or carry weapons. They smile at you. They shake your hand. They wish you well. They tell you they're proud of you for chasing your dreams. Then they go home and pray that you fail, not because they hate you, but because your success makes them confront their own mediocrity. Your progress forces them to face their own stagnation. Your growth highlights their decay. This is why you must learn to move unseen. This is why you must master the art of invisible progress. Because the moment they see you coming, they'll start preparing obstacles. The moment they realize you're serious, they'll start taking you seriously as a threat. The moment they understand you're not just dreaming but actually building, they'll start building walls to stop you. Human nature is predictable. People will support your dreams as long as they remain dreams. They'll encourage your goals as long as they seem impossible. They'll cheer for your ambitions as long as they don't believe you'll achieve them. But the moment your dreams start becoming reality, the moment your goals start materializing, the moment your ambitions start manifesting, everything changes. The same people who were your cheerleaders become your critics. The same people who were encouraging you start questioning you. The same people who believed in you start doubting you. Why does this happen? Because most people are comfortable with their own limitations, and they need you to have the same limitations to feel normal. When you break through your limitations, you're breaking their sense of what's possible. When you exceed their expectations, you're exposing their excuses. When you achieve what they said couldn't be done, you're proving that they could have done it too if they had tried harder, worked longer, sacrificed more. That realization is painful for them. That truth is uncomfortable for them. That mirror is unbearable for them. So instead of using your success as inspiration to improve their own lives, they use it as motivation to tear you down. Instead of asking how you did it, they question whether you deserve it. Instead of learning from your methods, they criticize your motives. This is the tax you pay for excellence. This is the price you pay for greatness. This is the cost of refusing to accept mediocrity as your ceiling. But here's the secret that most people never learn. You can avoid paying this tax if you're smart about how you move. You can sidestep this resistance if you understand how to build momentum without creating friction. The key is to become a master of stealth progress. While they're watching the obvious moves, you're making the subtle ones. While they're tracking your public victories, you're accumulating private ones. While they're measuring your visible growth, you're experiencing invisible transformation. Think about how trees grow. Do they announce their progress? Do they hold press conferences about their new rings? Do they send updates about their increasing height? No, they grow in silence. They add one ring at a time, one day at a time, one season at a time. By the time you notice how much they've grown, they're already towering over everything around them. This is your model. This is your strategy. This is your blueprint for unstoppable progress. Grow like a tree, not like a weed. Weeds grow fast and loud and visible, but they're easily uprooted. Trees grow slow and quiet and steady, but they become unmovable forces of nature. Your skills are your rings. Each day you practice, you're adding another ring. Each challenge you overcome, you're adding another ring. Each lesson you learn, you're adding another ring. These rings are invisible to the outside world, but they're the source of your strength. They're the foundation of your power. They're the basis of your eventual dominance. But there's a catch. The process of adding rings is boring. It's repetitive. It's unglamorous. There's no applause for daily practice. There's no recognition for consistent effort. There's no celebration for incremental improvement. This is why most people quit. They want the recognition before they've earned the results. They want the applause before they've delivered the performance. They want the celebration before they've achieved the victory. The master understands that recognition is the enemy of excellence. The moment you start performing for applause, you stop performing for improvement. The moment you start working for validation, you stop working for transformation. The moment you start measuring your progress by other people's reactions, you stop measuring your progress by your own standards. Your standards are the only standards that matter. Your definition of success is the only definition that counts. Your measurement of progress is the only measurement that's accurate. Because you're the only one who knows how far you've come. You're the only one who knows how much you've sacrificed. You're the only one who knows how hard you've worked when no one was watching. This invisible work is where champions are made. This hidden effort is where legends are born. This private struggle is where greatness is forged. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Not when everyone is watching, but when no one is watching. Not during the moments of glory, but during the moments of grind. Can you train when you don't feel like training? Can you study when you don't feel like studying? Can you practice when you don't feel like practicing? Can you work when you don't feel like working? This is the test. This is the measurement. This is the difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who achieve ordinary results. Extraordinary results require extraordinary commitment. But here's what most people don't understand. Extraordinary commitment doesn't mean extraordinary time. It means extraordinary consistency. It means showing up every day, even when you don't want to. It means doing the work every day, even when you don't feel like it. It means maintaining your standards every day, even when no one is holding you accountable. Accountability is overrated. Self-discipline is underrated. Most people need external pressure to perform, but masters create internal pressure to excel. Most people need someone else to push them, but champions push themselves. Most people need motivation from others, but legends motivate themselves. This self-reliance is your competitive advantage. While others are waiting for permission, you're taking action. While others are seeking motivation, you're creating momentum. While others are looking for support, you're building strength. While others are hoping for better circumstances, you're becoming a better person. Circumstances don't determine your destiny. Your response to circumstances determines your destiny. Bad circumstances can create good character if you respond correctly. Good circumstances can create bad character if you respond incorrectly. The circumstance itself is neutral. The power is in your response. This is why the art of invisible progress is so powerful. It allows you to respond to any circumstance with growth. It allows you to turn any situation into an opportunity. It allows you to find advantage in any disadvantage, because when you're committed to constant improvement, everything becomes fuel for your development. Criticism becomes feedback. Obstacles become training. Failures become education. Delays become preparation time. Setbacks become comebacks. Rejection becomes redirection. Every experience becomes a teacher. Every challenge becomes a coach. Every problem becomes a puzzle to solve. But this only works if you're working in silence. If you're broadcasting every setback, you're inviting sympathy instead of solutions. If you're announcing every challenge, you're seeking support instead of strength. If you're sharing every struggle, You're looking for rescue instead of resilience. The world doesn't need to know about your struggles. The world needs to see your results. The world doesn't need to hear about your pain. The world needs to witness your progress. The world doesn't need to understand your process. The world needs to respect your product. Your product is who you become. Your product is what you achieve. Your product is the life you build. This product is created in private, refined in solitude, perfected in silence. By the time the world sees it, it's already complete. By the time others recognize it, it's already established. By the time people acknowledge it, it's already undeniable. This is the power of invisible progress. This is the strength of silent growth. This is the advantage of private development. You become dangerous without appearing threatening. You become powerful without appearing aggressive. You become successful without appearing ambitious. Appearing is different from being. Most people focus on appearing successful instead of being successful. They focus on appearing confident instead of being confident. They focus on appearing knowledgeable instead of being knowledgeable. They're playing a game of perception, while you're playing a game of reality. Reality always wins in the end. Perception can fool people temporarily, but reality reveals the truth eventually. When the test comes, when the pressure mounts, when the stakes are high, reality is all that matters. Either you can perform or you can't. Either you have the skills or you don't. Either you've done the work or you haven't. This is why the art of invisible progress is not just a strategy, it's a philosophy. It's a way of living that prioritizes substance over style, results over recognition, achievement over applause. It's a commitment to building real strength instead of the appearance of strength. It's a dedication to developing genuine ability instead of the illusion of ability. Genuine ability doesn't need announcement. Real strength doesn't need advertisement. True power doesn't need promotion. When you have it, people sense it. When you've developed it, people feel it. When you've mastered it, people respect it. Not because you told them to, but because they can't help but respond to its presence. Presence is earned, not declared. Authority is built, not claimed. Respect is commanded, not demanded. These things come from the accumulation of right actions over time. They come from the consistent demonstration of value over months and years. They come from the patient building of character when no one is keeping score. No one is keeping score of your daily disciplines. No one is tracking your private victories. No one is measuring your invisible progress, but the universe is keeping perfect records. Every effort is recorded. Every improvement is noted. Every advancement is acknowledged. The universe doesn't miss anything, even when everyone else does. This is your comfort during the dark times. This is your strength during the difficult seasons. This is your hope during the challenging periods. When it feels like no one notices your effort, remember that the universe notices everything. When it feels like no one cares about your progress, remember that reality cares about nothing else. Reality is your ultimate judge. Reality is your final examiner. Reality is your truest teacher. Reality doesn't lie, doesn't flatter, doesn't deceive. Reality shows you exactly where you stand, exactly what you've built, exactly who you've become. And reality is always fair, even when people aren't. People will judge you by their standards, but reality will judge you by universal standards. People will measure you by their limitations, but reality will measure you by your potential. People will evaluate you based on their experience, but reality will evaluate you based on your performance. This is why the opinion of others matters less than the judgment of reality. This is why external validation matters less than internal validation. This is why public recognition matters less than private satisfaction. Because in the end, you have to live with yourself. In the end, you have to face yourself. In the end, you have to answer to yourself. Can you look yourself in the mirror and respect what you see? Can you review your daily actions and approve of your choices? Can you examine your progress and feel satisfied with your effort? This is the only validation that matters. This is the only approval that counts. This is the only recognition that lasts. Everything else fades. Applause stops. Compliments end. Recognition diminishes. But the person you become through the process of invisible progress, that lasts forever. The character you build through silent struggle, that stays with you always. The strength you develop through private discipline, that becomes part of your essence. You're not just building skills, you're not just pursuing goals, you're not just chasing dreams, you're building yourself, you're creating the person you want to be. You're becoming the individual you were meant to become. This transformation happens one choice at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time, and every single choice matters, even when no one sees it. But here's what happens when all those invisible choices compound into visible results. Here's what occurs when all that silent progress finally breaks through the surface. Here's the moment that justifies every sacrifice, validates every struggle, and rewards every hour of solitary work. Who here has ever experienced that moment when people suddenly see you differently? When their entire perception of you shifts in an instant, when they realize they've been underestimating you all along. That moment is coming for you. That moment is inevitable if you stay the course. That moment is guaranteed if you keep building in silence. But when it arrives, it won't arrive quietly. It will arrive like thunder after lightning. It will arrive like an earthquake after the pressure builds. It will arrive like an explosion after the fuse burns down. This is the moment of revelation. This is when your invisible progress becomes undeniable reality. This is when your private transformation becomes public demonstration. This is when your silent growth becomes loud success, and the shock on their faces will be worth every moment of doubt you endured. The surprise in their will be worth every criticism you absorbed. The awe in their eyes will be worth every sacrifice you made. They thought they knew you. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they understood your limits. They put you in a box, labeled that box, and filed it away in their minds. They categorized you, classified you, and dismissed you. They saw your present circumstances, and assumed those circumstances defined your potential. They witnessed your current abilities, and believed those abilities represented your ceiling. But you were never in that box. You were never limited by their labels. You were never defined by their definitions. While they were busy underestimating you, you were busy transforming yourself. While they were comfortable with their assessment of you, you were uncomfortable with your current version of yourself. While they were content to see you as you were committed to becoming who you could be. This is the power of the revelation moment. This is the impact of emerging from silence with results instead of promises. This is the effect of showing up with proof instead of potential. When you've been working invisibly for months or years, when you've been building steadily without broadcasting, when you've been growing consistently without announcing, your emergence creates shockwaves. Shockwaves because they weren't prepared for your evolution. Shockwaves because they didn't see your development coming. Shockwaves because they thought they were keeping track of your progress. But you were progressing on a different level entirely. You were playing a different game while they thought you were playing their game. You were operating by different rules while they thought you were limited by their rules. Their rules don't apply to you. Their limitations don't constrain you. Their expectations don't define you. You've been living by a higher standard, working toward a greater vision, building toward a bigger future. And when that future becomes present, when that vision becomes reality, when that standard becomes your new normal, the contrast is stunning. The contrast between who you were and who you've become. The contrast between what they expected and what you delivered. The contrast between their predictions and your performance. This contrast creates cognitive dissonance in their minds. They have to reconcile their old perception of you with the new reality of you. They have to update their mental model of what you're capable of. They have to admit they were wrong about your potential. Admitting they were wrong about your potential means admitting they might be wrong about their own potential. Seeing you break through limitations means confronting their own limitations. Witnessing your transformation means questioning their own stagnation. This is uncomfortable for them, but it's liberating for you. You're no longer bound by their opinions. You're no longer constrained by their expectations. You're no longer defined by their definitions. You've proven that their assessment was incomplete, their judgment was premature, their conclusion was incorrect. You've demonstrated that potential is not fixed, that ability is not static, that destiny is not predetermined. This demonstration doesn't require words. This proof doesn't need explanation. This evidence doesn't demand justification. Your results speak for themselves. Your achievements tell their own story. Your transformation provides its own testimony. The before and after comparison is so dramatic that no commentary is necessary. Before struggling, uncertain, searching, building, after confident, capable, achieving, arriving. The gap between these two versions of yourself is the gap between those who talk about change and those who create change. The distance between these two realities is the distance between those who dream about success and those who construct success. Construction requires patience. Building requires persistence. Creation requires consistency. These are not exciting virtues. These are not glamorous qualities. These are not celebrated characteristics. But these are the virtues that separate the builders from the dreamers, the creators from the consumers, the achievers from the aspirers. You've been building while others have been talking. You've been creating while others have been consuming. You've been achieving while others have been aspiring. The compound effect of all this effort is about to pay dividends that will surprise even you. Because you've been so focused on the process, you might not have noticed how much progress you've actually made. Progress is like compound interest. The gains are small and insignificant at first, but they accelerate over time. The improvements are barely noticeable day by day, but they're dramatically obvious year by year. The development is imperceptible in the short term, but it's undeniable in the long term. You're approaching the inflection point. You're nearing the moment when compound progress becomes explosive growth. You're getting close to the time when gradual improvement becomes radical transformation. This is when years of preparation meet a single moment of opportunity. This is when all your private practice becomes public performance. Public performance reveals private preparation. What you do when everyone is watching reflects what you did when no one was watching. How you perform under pressure reflects how you trained without pressure. What you achieve in the spotlight reflects what you built in the shadows. The spotlight is coming. The pressure is mounting. The opportunity is approaching. Are you ready? Have you done the work? Have you built the foundation? Have you developed the skills? Have you strengthened the character? Have you prepared for this moment? This moment will define you. This moment will reveal you. This moment will establish you, not because of what happens in the moment, but because of what you bring to the moment. Not because of the opportunity itself, but because of your readiness for the opportunity. Not because of external circumstances, but because of internal preparation. Internal preparation is invisible until it becomes essential. Private development is meaningless until it becomes meaningful. Silent growth is irrelevant until it becomes relevant. But when the moment comes, when the test arrives, when the opportunity presents itself, all that invisible preparation becomes the visible difference between success and failure. You've been preparing for this moment, even when you didn't know what this moment would look like. You've been building toward this opportunity, even when you couldn't see what this opportunity would be. You've been developing for this challenge even when you didn't understand what this challenge would require. This is the beauty of consistent improvement. This is the power of disciplined development. This is the magic of persistent progress. You become ready for opportunities you can't yet see. You develop capabilities for challenges you can't yet anticipate. You build strength for tests you can't yet imagine. When the test comes, you're ready. When the challenge arrives, you're prepared. When the opportunity appears, you're qualified. Not because you saw it coming, but because you've been coming toward it. Not because you knew what to expect, but because you expected to be tested. Not because you planned for this specific moment, but because you planned to be ready for any moment. Any moment could be your moment. Any day could be your day. Any opportunity could be your opportunity. This uncertainty is why you can't wait for the perfect moment to start preparing. This unpredictability is why you can't postpone your development until you see the opportunity. This mystery is why you must be ready before you need to be ready. Readiness is not about having all the answers. Readiness is about having the ability to find answers. Readiness is not about knowing all the moves. Readiness is about having the skills to create moves. Readiness is not about seeing all the possibilities. Readiness is about having the capacity to seize possibilities. Capacity is built through repetition. Skills are developed through practice. Abilities are strengthened through use. This building, developing and strengthening happens in private. This growth occurs in silence. This improvement takes place in solitude. But the demonstration happens in public. The proof appears before people. The evidence emerges in the open. When your moment arrives, when your time comes, when your opportunity appears, the world will see the result of all your private work. They'll witness the outcome of all your silent effort. They'll observe the product of all your invisible progress, and they'll be amazed, not because what you achieved is impossible, but because they didn't see it coming. They didn't see it coming because they weren't watching you build. They missed it because they weren't paying attention to your process. They were surprised because they were focused on your starting point instead of your trajectory. They were looking at where you were instead of where you were going. Where you were going was always up. Where you were heading was always forward. Where you were heading was always forward. Where you were moving was always toward greatness. But the path to greatness is not a straight line. The journey to excellence is not a smooth ride. The road to mastery is not an easy walk. It's a climb. It's a struggle. It's a battle. And most of that battle happens internally. Most of that struggle occurs privately. Most of that climb takes place in solitude. This is why your emergence is so shocking to others. They didn't see the battle, so they don't understand the victory. didn't witness the struggle, so they don't appreciate the success. They didn't observe the climb, so they don't recognize the summit. But you remember every step of the climb. You recall every moment of the struggle. You can recount every stage of the battle. You understand the price you paid for this moment. You appreciate the cost of this achievement. You recognize the value of this success. This understanding gives you a different relationship with your success than others have with theirs. This awareness creates a different appreciation for your achievements than others have for theirs. This knowledge provides a different perspective on your progress than others have on theirs. Your success is not accidental. Your achievement is not lucky. Your progress is not coincidental. Your success is intentional. Your achievement is earned. Your progress is constructed. You built this moment through thousands of smaller moments. You created this opportunity through hundreds of small opportunities. You earned this success through countless small successes. Small successes compound into big successes. Small victories accumulate into major victories. Small progress aggregates into significant progress. But most people don't see the small stuff. Most people don't notice the incremental improvements. Most people don't track the gradual development. They only see the final result. They only notice the ultimate outcome. They only observe the end product. This selective attention makes your success appear sudden when it's actually been building for years. This limited perspective makes your achievement seem overnight when it's actually been developing for seasons. Overnight success is a myth. Instant achievement is a fantasy. Sudden mastery is an illusion. Real success takes time. Genuine achievement requires patience. True mastery demands persistence. But when it arrives, when it manifests, when it appears, it seems to happen all at once. All at once you're recognized as an expert. All at once you're acknowledged as a leader. All at once you're respected as a master. But this recognition, acknowledgement, and respect didn't happen all at once. They were earned gradually, built consistently, developed persistently. The appearance of suddenness is just that, minus an appearance. The reality is that you've been becoming this person for years. The truth is that you've been developing these capabilities for seasons. The fact is that you've been building this foundation for months. When the building is complete, when the foundation is solid, when the structure is ready, then the world gets to see what you've been constructing in private. Your private construction becomes public demonstration. Your secret development becomes obvious capability. Your hidden preparation becomes visible performance, and the performance speaks for itself. The capability proves itself. The demonstration validates itself. Validation from results is different from validation from people. Results don't lie. Results don't flatter. Results don't exaggerate. Results simply are. They exist or they don't. They're achieved or they're not. They're real or they're imaginary. Your results are real. Your achievements are genuine. Your progress is authentic. This authenticity gives you a confidence that can't be shaken, a certainty that can't be questioned, a security that can't be threatened. Because you know what you've built. You know what you've achieved. You know what you're capable of. This knowledge changes how you move through the world. This awareness changes how you interact with others. This understanding changes how you approach new challenges, new opportunities. You move with the confidence of someone who has proven themselves to themselves. You interact with the assurance of someone who has tested themselves under pressure. You approach with the certainty of someone who has built real capability. Real capability is different from perceived capability. Real strength is different from apparent strength. Real power is different from projected power. Real capability, strength, and power are tested and proven. They're not just claimed or announced. They're demonstrated and validated. Your demonstration is coming. Your validation is approaching. Your proof is emerging. When it arrives, it will speak louder than any words you could have spoken. When it manifests, it will prove more than any argument you could have made. When it appears, it will convince more effectively than any explanation you could have given. This is why silence was your strategy. This is why invisibility was your method. This is why privacy was your approach. You were building something that would speak for itself, prove itself, convince others by itself. You were creating evidence that wouldn't need a lawyer, constructing proof that wouldn't need an advocate, building a case that wouldn't need a defender. The case is built. The proof is constructed. The evidence is created. Now it's time for the revelation. Now it's time for the demonstration. Now it's time for the world to see what you've been building in silence, developing in private, creating in secret. Your secret is about to become obvious. Your private development is about to become public knowledge. Your invisible progress is about to become undeniable reality. And when that happens, when that moment arrives, when that revelation occurs, remember this: you earned every bit of recognition you receive. You deserve every acknowledgement you get. You merit every respect you gain. But more importantly, remember that this moment is not the end of your journey. This revelation is not your destination. This recognition is not your goal. This moment is proof that the process works. This revelation is evidence that the method succeeds. This recognition is confirmation that the approach delivers results. The process that got you here will take you further. The method that brought you this far will carry you farther. The approach that created this transformation will create additional transformations. Because you haven't just achieved a result, you've become a person who achieves results. You haven't just reached a destination, you've become a traveler who reaches destinations. You haven't just experienced success, you've become someone who creates success. This is the ultimate revelation. This is the deepest truth. This is the most important understanding. You are not your achievements. Your achievements are expressions of you. You are not your results. Your results are reflections of you. You are not your success. Your success is a manifestation of you. And you are someone who never tells people what you do. You are someone who shows people what you can do. You are someone who proves rather than promises, demonstrates rather than declares, achieves rather than announces. This is who you are now. This is who you've become. This is who you will continue to be as you move toward even greater achievements, even bigger successes, even more significant impacts. The world is watching now. The world is paying attention now. The world is listening now. But you don't need the world to watch, pay attention, or listen. You've proven that to yourself through years of working without an audience, building without applause, growing without recognition. You've mastered the most important skill of all, the ability to motivate yourself, improve yourself, and achieve for yourself. Everything else is just bonus. Everything else is just extra. Everything else is just the world finally catching up to what you've known about yourself all along. You are unstoppable. You are undeniable. You are inevitable. Not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you've become in achieving it. Not because of your current success, but because of your proven ability to create success. Not because of this moment, but because of your capacity to create more moments like this. The revelation is complete. The demonstration is finished. The proof is provided. Now the question becomes, what will you build in silence next? What will you develop in private next? What will you create in secret next? Because the world is watching now, but your greatest work still happens when the world isn't watching. Your greatest achievements still come from your private disciplines. Your most significant growth still occurs in solitude. Your most important development still takes place in silence. The revelation moment is powerful, but the preparation for the next revelation moment starts now. Never tell people what you do, show them what you've done, then go back into silence and start building something even more impressive. The cycle continues. The process repeats. The journey goes on. And every time you emerge from silence with results, the world will be shocked all over again. This is your way. This is your path. This is your method. This is who you are, the silent warrior who speaks through actions, the invisible force who appears through results, the quiet achiever who makes noise through accomplishments. Remember this always, in every moment, in every choice, in every challenge. Never tell people what you do. Show them what you can do. Then let your achievements do all the talking.